right, welcome to Behind the Grind. It's your boy Sherrod, and I am excited. I'm in my hometown with a good guy, a good buddy of mine. LV is what I call him.
Yes, sir.
Lev Hunter is in the building, and today we doing a podcast today.
Yeah, man.
How you feeling, man?
Man, listen, I'm weird.
You feeling weird, man?
I'm feeling weird, man. And only because the tragic news that everybody has experienced.
Yeah, man.
You know, with the legendary Kobe Bryant, like I'm legit sad.
Man, that was probably the hardest thing I've ever experienced via social media per se, right? You know, I know a lot of people have passed. And, you know, from the Whitney Houstons to all these different individuals. But this one hit home for me in particular for two reasons.
Yeah.
Me and Kobe were born the same year, graduated from high school the same year. And I'm tripping because, you know, even though I wasn't like this athlete or this above average athlete, I still watch, you know, the rankings in high school. And Kobe, you know, towards the end of his high school career was way up there at the top. And that was one of those names that, man, when I make it to the NBA per se, right? I'm going to play against Kobe. But, you know, tragic experience. He had a daughter, you know what I mean? 13. I have a daughter that's 14. All of these things just hit me hard. And so, you know, I'm still shocked too, just like you. I'm sorry. I just had a moment, man.
And I mean, I didn't want us to jump in straight into
right.
I mean, I'm just being transparent with my feelings. I'm trying to learn how to really, you know, be honest with myself and how I feel.
Right.
And again, just like you, I've met a lot of celebrities in my life.
Right.
And that's not bragging, but it's
it's
just due to the profession that I was a part of. And like I don't be caring,
right?
You know what I mean? Like when Whitney died, there's only two people that have passed away that has really made me go like, wow. And it goes in this order. First, it was Michael Jackson.
Okay.
Everybody growing up just
he was there. He was there everywhere, right?
He was the thing. Like
right.
If you ever had a chance to meet, I think you would have a better chance of meeting Barack Obama as the president than you would have
Michael Jackson. That's so true.
Right.
So true.
Then number two with not even a full year was Nipsey. And I wasn't even a Nipsey fan like that.
That was crazy.
Right.
And this was only like 9 months prior to this.
Wow. I think it was April.
Okay, maybe so.
Away,
that's crazy.
So and I wouldn't and I'm being 100% like I was not a huge Nip fan.
Okay.
But I knew about his grind from the start to where he, you know, his unlikely passing due to working in the radio and all that. And all that. So and what his message was about. Yeah. So that one hit me, man, to the point where like I needed somebody to talk to. But last night
that was tough.
That was tough. Yeah. That was tough because again, you grow up watching Kobe. Yeah. And here's what people need to understand, and I hope we understand. A couple things. And we can really get into some other stuff.
Yeah.
Is that this man was a father.
Yeah.
He was a husband. Yeah. He was everything that we wanted to see in a black man.
Right. He really was.
You see what I'm saying? He really was. He was respected in any hood.
Right.
And he was respected in any country.
I mean, well cultured, man. Any country. Yeah, you're so right.
Anywhere, people gonna respect Kobe.
Yeah.
And
think
about it, bro. Like we talk about LeBron James being, you know, with his longtime girlfriend, now wife, and kids, never having scandals and all that. We talk about Jordan, but he had his dirt.
Right.
Kobe had his moment. But since then, he's been exemplary of what it looks like to be a man.
I call it exceptional. He's been exceptional. And I don't mean that in like this, he just making a decision to carry himself exceptional in an exceptional kind of way. Yeah.
Man of excellence, man.
Yeah. And, you know, and you mentioned that, you know, I do have to say there was one other death that impacted me. It was in college. And again, I'm dating myself here today for some reason, but Tupac, obviously, was another one. But, you know, and I want to talk about this, and we'll get to it and letting everybody know who you are. But the difference then, that was huge, especially in the community I grew up in. Growing up in Flint, we all listened to Tupac and all that good stuff. And probably different today with social media.
Oh, man.
And so I want you to talk to us today because I know you're a social media kind of guy, but the difference today with social media compared to then, it hit us. That was hard too. But at the same time, we just had the TV. We had, whatever was broadcasting it at the time. But we didn't have like yesterday, I flipped on, took out my phone and I saw one person say, and I'm like, that's not true. And then it kept coming through. Yeah. And then next thing I know, everybody, and I know there's algorithms, but everybody down my timeline are talking about Kobe, whether they like basketball or not.
Yes.
And the conversation is still going, and we're talking about it. You know what I mean?
Yes, it's still heavy. So here's the difference, right? Tupac and Biggie passing, it did hit. I was young.
Sure. Right.
I was fans of both, and I looked at those guys as legends.
Yeah.
Because they had the reach of social media before it was
social media. It was like an underground social media.
We knew when Pac passed.
Yeah.
We knew.
Yeah.
I can tell. It was almost like 9/11.
All these moments were like 9/11. It was.
You know what I'm saying? Yeah. Biggie and Tupac's passing, their murder, because it was murder, right? But their passing was really big, and now you got social media where I found out, and I don't know how true this is, but I think it's true.
Sure.
That the families found out from
the
TMZ.
Same way the rest of us found out, right?
And I think that's wrong.
That is wrong. Yeah.
I unfortunately, you can't stop nobody from doing anything, but TMZ and these type of places, man, that stuff, that's not fair. Yeah. That's not cool. Yeah. I feel bad that I found out about it when his wife found out
that is,
I mean, she may have knew about it an hour before.
Sure. But at the same time, we're finding out everything is in this case, like you said, it's in so real time and people racing to the stories. There's so much we can unpack on that. I don't want to spend most of this podcast.
But it's good, though. It's good.
So before we get too far, I know we jumped right in on most of us, and we were talking about that, and so hopefully you're still tuned in. But I got my guy here, LV, and we're just going to kind of hard shift. And I just want to, some people may know you that, rock with me, and some people may not, you know what I mean? So I know you from the social, I call you like the social media kind of guy, right? Yes. You know how to social, you know how to engage. And you're the guy that I reach out to about social tips. I know it's more to you than that. I know you got some businesses going on. Tell the people a little bit about yourself.
Oh, man. So I guess, I love people.
Yeah.
All walks of people.
Yeah.
Like, it don't matter race, creed, beliefs, or any of that. I just love people.
Before you go too far, and I know you're doing your introduction. Have you taken that assessment yet?
Yeah, I took the.
Are you a high I?
High I.
Are you pilot? I'm not pilot. What is it?
I'm like 98. I'm as high as
the flamingo. You are the flight attendant. All that.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. I just wanted to throw that out.
My second one was an S.
Okay, I can see that. Okay, yeah.
The legend, Mr. Eric Thomas, Dr. Eric Thomas, man, we had a conversation, and I asked him, I was like, so what does this mean for me? He was like, you're like a Kanye West.
Yes.
Right? Where you can help people like Kanye helped Jay, but at some point you got to spread your wings and do your own thing. So
I didn't mean to stop you. I was just curious.
I want people to know, like, I love people.
Yeah.
I just do. I love people. I've never met a stranger. So, yes, I love social media. I love entrepreneurship. Entrepreneurship is my DNA. I come from a family of entrepreneurs here in Flint, and I just love interacting with people. Like when people say, "What do you like to do?" Like, I don't like to do much, but talk with people.
Right.
Like not all the time, because sometimes people can burn you out, right? Yeah. But for the most part, I really love sitting down doing this.
Right. And it's a gift. It's a gift you have.
And people have been telling me that my whole life, and I'm just like, whatever. I just love people, man, because man, it's easy to fall in love with the wrong thing.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about that. So, how did that? You start you had a career ambition and what you were doing. How did everything start? How did you evolve into what you are today?
Man, so the shortcut version was I started in radio. While I was in college, and I thought I was gonna be this big time radio personality. I really did.
Yeah.
I was like, y'all, they ain't ready for me. Okay. Wait till I get on these airwaves in LA. We're gonna do it. And unfortunately, that dream didn't happen. But along in that time, I'm always being able to see 2 or 3 moves ahead when it talks about what's coming up and what's getting ready to move and bubble. And I knew this social media thing was huge. I remember Black Planet, and I remember MySpace.
Oh, you was all on that?
Oh, man. So, let me tell you how much, and this is true.
So I thought you was pretty young. You caught the wave?
No, I caught the wave on Black Planet. No lie. I remember I got a Black Planet page, and I learned how to put the code in to change the music in your background. I called my cousin. I said, yo, we need to start a business.
You know what? Before we go too far, I know there's we're all over the place, y'all, but Black Planet was way before MySpace, all this, everything that we're talking about.
I saw all that then.
Black Planet was already on it, right? Yes. And you saw it before that, is what you saying.
When Black Planet hit and I got a profile, I was like, hold on, I can talk to people that I don't know personally.
Well, listen, I'm going to date myself once again. You know what my Black Planet was back in the day? The chat room. When the first time I was in college, well, hold on, no, you don't understand. When I was in college, they had these chat rooms in colleges where it was a black screen with green typing. That's before your time.
I play games on that screen.
Okay, all right.
I play some games on that computer screen.
But we would connect to all schools and universities. Man, that was a whole different thing. We just didn't have the pictures, the images. We would send our pictures via mail. Man, I'm dating myself. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Catch me like this, homeboy. I got on my cross color, my Carl Canot outfit. You know what I'm saying? Roglin's on Clio Road.
Oh, man. Okay, man. All right. I'm sorry. Okay, tell us about yourself, man.
Yeah. So I've always been hip to like, okay, something's here.
Okay.
And I was like, how can I wrap a business around it? So I called my cousin that night, like, yo, we need to do this. He like, yeah, whatever. So it never happened.
Okay.
So you transition to all this stuff, man. I get in radio. I'm like, man, I want to reach more people. How do you reach more people? I need social media.
Okay.
So I remember again being on the radio, like, yo, at the station talking to the higher ups, like, we need this, we need to do this, we need to do this, we need to do that.
And you're the young guy on the scene.
Young guy on the scene. They wasn't seeing it, so they wasn't trying to hear me.
Right.
And that's okay. I mean, you know, we eventually got to where I was seeing, and as that started to happen, I started to fall in love with social media and really see the power in it. And now I just try to help people leverage social media. And here's the thing, and this may be giving away some strategy here, but I tell people to be social on social media.
I love that.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that was a tag. I don't know if that's your tagline or if you. I know you mean it, but that made so much sense. You made the analogy like at a party, right? Yeah. How do people interact at a party as opposed to, you know, I mean, you have to interact, you have to talk, and social media is kind of like that. You can't just sit on the wall and expect people just to come to you, right?
You're not that dope. Only the pretty girl at the party can do that.
You got a pretty
No, I'm just being real. The prettiest girl in the room can just stand there because she's the prettiest girl in the room.
Right.
And every guy who want to be around this pretty girl, they gonna walk up to her and shoot their shot.
Right.
She don't have to.
Right.
But in social media, you have to be social, and that's where, and it goes to this. I be want to tell people, like, stop being so selfish.
Yeah.
You want comments, right? You want somebody to share your stuff. You want likes. You want somebody to buy into your program and your products.
Right.
If you're not doing that for nobody else, how do you expect it to them? And you're not that sweet. I don't care if you got 100,000 followers. Mm-hmm. And I be looking at people that got all these followers. I'm like, but your engagement numbers suck. You got 300,000 followers, but you only got 40 comments.
Yep. So
only 40 people thought whatever you was putting out of 300,000 was worth engaging with.
A little off balance.
Off balance, right? So, I mean, if you look at Will Smith, right? Will Smith got on social media. How many celebrities should have been on social media?
He took a hold of that thing, didn't he?
He took a hold of it, and he's a part of the culture.
Yeah.
He'll comment back.
He engages, you know, of course he can't engage to everybody, but he's showing the reciprocation of engaging back. It's the key. Wow,
reciprocity,
that's huge.
Man. And reciprocity is huge. So for those that, whatever the platform, so a lot of what I do, I don't care nothing about the algorithm.
Right.
I don't care nothing about the platform.
Right.
I try to make the digital world look like the real life world.
That's what it is, right?
Right. So if you're not going to talk to, and this is the last thing that we on the social, you want to stay there. But I tell people like this lately. I said, if I ask you to go to your local mall, which a lot of people are not going to be there because malls are in decline. If I say go to the mall, I need you to take a selfie with 100 people, and y'all got to exchange names. How many people do you think you need to engage with to reach that goal? Probably 1,000. If you're not ready to do that, you're not ready to be who you say you want to be.
Oh man, you dropping nuggets, man. You dropping nuggets out here, man.
Yeah.
All right, so you've got that going, the social part. You also have, like you said, entrepreneurship. You also got your business that you've launched.
Yeah, the Daily Brew Coffee.
Yeah,
man. I love coffee because it allows me to be social.
Yeah.
Like you got water over here, I got water in here. We got our cups. So
I had my coffee earlier, so water today.
Yeah, most likely. So I mean, most definitely needing water because coffee will dry you out. It causes you to be dehydrated. But here's the thing, right? When you at that party, you at the club, you at whatever you are in a social place, what do you normally see? Something in somebody's hand.
Something to drink, huh?
How many times? People that don't even drink coffee. Hey, girl, let's get together. Let's go to the coffee shop. Right? And that's cross cultural, like the coffee shop is our town square. That's where we all come together at, right? So I worked at Starbucks. I saw that. I'm like, yo, this could be a business. But I never thought I could own a business in coffee.
Okay.
So I left radio and I said, so what's my passion?
Okay.
Media and coffee.
Okay.
So I did the Daily Brew podcast and the YouTube channel.
I love it, yeah.
So one day I tell that story and somebody was like, hey, I can help you get your own coffee. And the rest is history. So we got 3 coffees. We're going to switch over our distributor for tea. So we're going to have better opportunities for tea.
Okay.
And then hopefully in a year and a half that we'll be able to open up our own cafe. Right now we're mobile.
Okay.
So we can make your lattes on the go.
Yeah.
And that's it, man.
I love it. You know, you tell the story about how you fell in love with coffee, and I connect to it first and foremost because did you say? Correct me if I'm wrong, but was it your grandmother?
Yes.
And was she from Arkansas?
Yeah, man.
Okay, that's how we have a little connection.
Yeah,
Not that we know
cousins.
each other. We cousins somehow.
I'm
from my parents are from Arkansas actually, but El Dorado and Warren, Arkansas.
So El Dorado is my dad's side of the family.
Get out of here.
Yeah,
man.
I
we
own
might
land
actually be
in El Dorado.
We might actually be family.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you. Listen,
ended up here in Flint some kind of way. Wow, that's crazy.
They all came up here, man. It's crazy. We got crazy stories about that.
Yeah, but the story with your grandmother, how that happened, how that came about.
So I would get sent to Arkansas every summer as a kid.
Okay, and I understand. I know how that is, but talk
I didn't
about
know though.
Yeah,
right? I didn't understand what that was. That was mama like, look, I'm a single mom. I need y'all help. I'm sending this boy down there for the summer. I'm gonna send him with some money. And y'all send me back in one piece. So,
and hold on, that's a big culture shock from Flint or from Michigan up north to the South. Nothing, it's just different words.
Arkansas is different from any other state in the South, number one. But where we're from this place called Kibla, which is now called Doddridge, and that's where my mom's side of the family is from. Okay. And you know, you go down this red clay dirt. Okay. There's no lights. At that time, there was no paved road. Everything was gravel, and we were my grandfather had a farm per se, like a garden. I would say more so garden than farm. Sure. But he had a garden, and you know, I enjoyed it. I didn't know nothing different. Sure. My grandparents, I loved them, and my grandmother would wake up every day, and she cooked 3 square meals from scratch. Yeah. And breakfast, she would. One time, she had some coffee, and I'm like, man, that smell good. That look good, Granny. Let me get some of that. And I'm probably 4th or 5th grade, and she like, okay. So we had it, and we would just sit there and talk. Yeah. We would just talk. Me and her would just talk. And she was a woman of few words, but we would just sit there and talk. And then after that, we would clean up, and we would go to the other people homes in the area who were, you know, older, who really could take care of themselves that way. Right. So it's almost like in-house living assisted living type of situations where we would go and clean and feed them. Okay. So I remember she would make me put the jelly on the toast for the people. Make sure there's butter on there. And
man, it sounds like we live the same.
Man, I'm telling you, we kinfolk. So that's where it started, man. She opened up my eyes to coffee, and I would drink it like anybody else drink coffee, just to stay up and whatnot. I was in high school drinking coffee. Wow. Every day.
Okay, so I didn't catch the coffee thing. My grandmother didn't necessarily do the coffee thing, but all the other experiences. Yeah.
Oh man, cooking, you know, shelling peas. Yeah. You know, getting greens out the garden, eating tomatoes right off the vine. Wow. Listen, I can tell y'all about I'm a guy from the north, but I definitely know a little bit about the south.
That's awesome, man. Well, so what are we doing these days? I see you out and you're still, you know, like you said, social. One of the things I've seen you doing too is you're connecting. There's a group out there called, what is it, the Black Christian?
Black Christian Influencers. Yeah.
What do you do? Tell us about what you're doing with that, man. I'm loving it, man. What are you doing?
I've been, you know, fortunate and blessed. I used some strategies in social media on really showing love to what they were doing. Yeah. Shout out to Jackie for putting that together, that vision of bringing like-minded people together. Okay. Over 2,000 paid members in a year. Okay. Over 20,000 followers in that same time span. So we bring in like-minded people. So my job there.
What's your role?
So and I got to remember my title was the Community Development Director.
Look, you don't even know your title. You just doing what you do.
I just do it, man. and I try my best, Sherrod, just to get people talking. Sure, right.
That's what's so funny about it, because you don't know what your title is.
No, I don't even need it. But I'm thankful for it.
Yeah, sure.
I'm extremely thankful for the opportunity because, you're a part of BCI, but there's other people in the group that I've made some real connections with. And that's where I try to, again, teach people like, yo, if you want to grow, get in these groups and do not try to extrapolate value, but give value. So I just start, in the one group that I was in, I just, every other day, I would just say something to get people talking. And people would respond. So she was like, yo, can you do that for all the other groups? And I didn't know how many. So I think I'm in over 30.
Wait a minute, it's 30-something groups?
Oh, man. And each group can hold up to 35 people.
That's dope, man.
So I just got
That's
added.
dope.
So it may even be more than close to 50. I don't know, maybe close to 50.
Sure.
And I just go in there and get people talking.
That's dope.
So when Kobe passed last night, I said, hey, man, BCI, love like God loves. And you know, and don't hold grudges or something like that. And people were just,
and it was just a conversation. You know, that's a good, let's talk about that too. You know, being, people with, some Christian faith, some faith-based background. Sometimes when things like this happen in the world, like Kobe, how are we supposed to process it? Because sometimes, we've grown up in environments, how do you take that? I mean, this is a celebrity, we feel in some kind of way. We want to express that. Are we able to express that? Not able to express that? What do you think?
So it's twofold, right? So you started out talking about it from a faith-based perspective. So for me, it's like this. To be absent from the body is to be present with the Lord, right? And I don't put everybody in heaven because I don't know how people live. But I would like to believe that, we all get a fair shot at living a good life after this life.
Right.
And that's up to how you live your life while you're here, right? I tell people the life you live reveals your faith. So I don't care what you say you believe, your life will tell me what you believe. Right? So as far as how to grieve and how to process this, I'm all for doing it in a healthy way. So I think that's where the line has to be drawn. If you are someone who has to be on social media and you got to update us on how you feel every 15 minutes, that's okay as long as it's healthy. What does healthy look like? Healthy looks like, in this case, the memories that Kobe and, that you remember of him, how he made you feel and how he made you, look at things differently as far as, are you really grinding? Like, you know what I'm saying? Behind the grind, right? Are you really, because that's what Kobe said, like, do you really do what you say you do, right? So the unhealthy is to throw shade or this is what he deserved or or just really being disrespectful to the person and the family and the people who love them. You wouldn't do that if somebody just passed away. You'd be like, oh, that's what they get. Well, let's say this. Let me go a little step further. Again, going back to that social media part, many of us never met this guy. Never met him. And again, I'm using it from this perspective from a spiritual standpoint. Many of us haven't met him, but for some reason it impacted us. You know what I mean? You can't deny that it impacted us. We grew up with Kobe. We grew up with him, but we never knew him. So is it okay to feel these kind of way? Yes. And that's what the power of this thing called the internet has allowed us to do in social media, right? You graduated at the same year Kobe graduated, right? So when you was going to prom, guess who he went to prom with? Brandy, man. I remember that. I'm like, man, this dude. Right? Again, he wasn't 6 years older than me, so I was in middle school like, dude went to prom with Brandy. Remember, he was trying to rap. Yeah, he was doing a lot. He got hurt his first year, so he tried to rap. We grew up. We saw him. We saw the matriculation of who this young man in '96 became this father, became this husband, became this ambassador to what excellence looked like. Accomplished his goals. We knew more about Kobe than we know more about our own cousins. Wow. You know what I mean? I feel you. And I mean, come on, man. Like, we saw this man have a scandal where he made one of the biggest mistakes of his life, and he bounced back. Showed us how to bounce back, actually. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. And then his wife played a role. His kids played a role. I mean, like, let's be real. And I know, we got a time limit, but I really want to say this. I'm really to say that Kobe lived out what the Cosby Show wanted us to be. You say that again. I really believe that. You really did. I really believe Kobe, before our own eyes, his real life. Not Black Mama. The real life. Right. Put his money up with Colin Kaepernick. Right. He put his money up in different ways, and his celebrity. Right. He lent that globally to certain causes. He was what the Cosby Show was trying to get the Black community to become. after they went off the air.
Wow.
He made a mistake and came back. Wife stuck with him. Mm-hmm. He dropped that rock on her finger.
Well, he had to. That was given.
You know what I'm saying?
That was given.
But
real talk, though. It said a lot even about his character that he was able to bounce back even in that case because she didn't have to.
No.
Right? She didn't have to.
When everybody turned their back on him. Sprite and some other people and I think Sprite was one of the big endorsers who turned their back on him. And he said, I'm about to become black. He became Black Mamba.
And they chased him once again. All these endorsers. Yeah. That's major.
So that's just my take on it. So I think, yes, grieve how you want to grieve. I don't care if it's your family member, if it's Kobe Bryant, if it's Nipsey, if it's anybody. Grieve how you want to grieve. But I do ask you to be mindful of, sometimes this is a term called vicarious trauma. Okay. That's really what I was trying to figure out. Yeah.
What is it called?
Vicarious trauma. Okay. So I'm traumatized through your trauma.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I tell people be careful of. So they had a fake video out of a helicopter crash and it was his. And I'm just like, man, nobody needs to see that.
Right.
That video should never surface. If it is a video, it should never surface. Because I'm about to watch the last moment a man had with his daughter. I don't have children, but I can only imagine if you got children and you had to hold your daughter knowing that y'all about to die, I don't need to see that. So yeah.
All right, so we've talked about Kobe. We've talked about it. Like I said, it breeds into social media and all this good stuff. So where do you see the future? And this is just a kind of question. Where do you see the future of social media? Since you're a social media kind of guy. I mean, with all of us are concerned with algorithms and all these different things going on. What do you think is the next? Not to say too much, but what do you think is the next thing that people should be aware of? And
first and foremost, I had a college professor tell me this some years ago, and we all laughed at him. He said the number one job in America, or one of the most sought after jobs and high paying jobs, is going to be people who can collect data and analyze it.
Okay.
Right? So that's all Facebook and social media is data.
Is data and people who knows how to analyze it.
If you can analyze it, bro, you can make a lot of money.
Wow. So what impact would that have with AI and all that kind of stuff?
It's going to directly impact. AI is going to be the result of the person who can sit back and analyze the data. So here's my point.
Okay.
This is bigger than the user aspect.
Sure.
We're taking the veil off, right?
Sure.
So we need people that look like everybody,
right,
to have access to the data, and be able to analyze the data, and then process it in a way for AI.
Okay.
Process it in a way, because here's the thing, and I'm not going political, but I really like what Andrew Yang is talking about.
True,
right?
Yeah.
Robots and technology is going to take human jobs. So if I can't win now, it's going to be difficult later.
Yeah.
Right? So if I'm not able to analyze this data today to impact everybody equally, there's going to be a lot of people at a disadvantage. So if these social media, giants keep getting hacked and privacy and all that, because Americans, we say we care about privacy, but we don't.
Okay.
We don't. We give up our privacy to use these platforms.
Right.
So that's all this data, bro. It can tell you that's why algorithms work, because they are processing what you like, what you don't like, and it's able to manipulate. So we have to start looking at our kids and say, okay, coding is cool, but you need to be able to look at numbers and tell me what those numbers mean and how it can affect me and you and everybody else.
Now, why do you say coding is cool, but put more emphasis on the numbers? Because coding out here is really huge. So
here's the thing. You said the future, right?
Yeah.
So the coding is a way that we see now.
Okay.
So if everybody's coding,
right,
the amount of money I need to pay you to code, because I got 10 people who can do it versus 3 people who can do it. Okay. Totally different ball game.
Yeah.
Supply and demand.
Yeah.
So nobody's that I know of is talking about data and analyzing and regurgitating it. So that means that's $100,000 plus job. If you can, you know what I'm saying?
Right.
So that's the kid who's smart, who, he ain't got swag, but that's the guy who's gonna make a lot of money. That's the next Bill Gates.
Wow.
So it's not necessarily, can I make an app?
Yeah.
I need to be able to analyze. I need to be able to collect, analyze, and put the data into the new apps.
Yeah, it's interesting you say that, because I remember, again, dating myself, man.
Yeah.
But when the internet came along, there were stages there, and then websites. It was only a special group of people. You need to analyze making websites.
Yeah.
But now websites is not
$30 you can have in 5 minutes.
You know what I mean? So you're right. So we have to be careful. As we're preparing for the future, we do have to kind of process and think it. We can't just go on the current wave. Yes, it's good to know those skills, but understand there still may be something beyond what you're learning today in those skills that we got to see where everything is going. Does that make sense?
Yeah, and I love how Gary Vee talk about it, right? He's like, I put my energy, so the internet came out, phones came out, apps came out. That's the foundation.
Right.
But how you use these apps is where he puts his attention at. So I'm looking at, okay, we all on our phones, we all giving up all this data and all this information. What happens with this information? So it's only being organized, used, and taken advantage of by an elite group of people. A small group of people. And they going to make the decisions. So everything is going to be digital. Everything is AI. Everything is voice. Everything is video.
It's all setting it up.
But if you got a small group of people, their ideology is going to determine how they process the data, which is going to control how you use the tools.
Wow.
So I can control the masses if I only got a small group of people who can control data.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, we could go on and on
Yes,
with that talk. So, before we get out of here, I'm going to pop the question.
Yes, sir.
I'm not sure exactly when you guys will see this or when you hear this. It may have already taken place, but I got to ask you.
Yeah.
Who going to win a Super Bowl?
Ooh, Chiefs. Chiefs by 10.
You going with the Chiefs?
Chiefs by 10.
By 10?
Chiefs by 10.
Okay, all right.
And it's going to be hard hitting.
Okay.
It's going to be hard hitting. And if they can protect Patty Homeboy, my homeboy.
Fascinating.
Yeah. Because Garoppolo, he don't have it.
Okay.
He's a manager.
All right.
Who you got?
Well, I was going to go with the Chiefs, but it seemed kind of odd that you picked the Chiefs, so we both can't pick the Chiefs.
You pick the Chiefs.
Okay, I picked the
Chiefs.
I'm going with the Chiefs.
Let's get it.
Real talk, I wish the Ravens would have meant that's the team I was rooting for, but
that's my squad, right?
Well,
since 1999, that's my squad.
Well, mine, since we have some guys represented from Flint on the squad,
Yes,
that's why they my squad. But
real quick, you got 2 people from Flint on the Ravens, 2 people from Flint on the Lakers.
Crazy.
Here's another crazy.
Let's mention them. So
right?
Those of you who are not aware of, the 2 people from on the Ravens was
Mark Ingram, which everybody think I look like.
You do, actually.
I got another funny story, but what we got to I'll tell you off the air about that. Because everybody think I'm Mark Ingram. Right? So
you better use
Mark
it,
Ingram, then you got Brandon Carr.
Who went to Grand Valley, by the way. Anywho.
Yeah, I'm going to let you
Division
have
II
that
school. It's still in the NFL.
The Battle of the Valleys.
All right,
go ahead.
Go ahead.
Then you got Kyle Kuzma and JaVale McGee. Peep this. Glenn Rice played for who? The Los Angeles Lakers.
Wow.
3 guys from the city of Flint played for the Lakers.
Man, that's dope. That's dope, right? Yeah. And before we go too far, and not to switch the subject too far, but I was just, again, with the Kobe, in light of the Kobe stuff, I played against several players that actually guarded Kobe.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Morris Peterson got that.
Morris Peterson, Eddie Robinson.
Yeah.
I mean, Charlie Bell.
Yeah, man.
All these, Mateen, all these guys literally played against Kobe.
And you played against them.
I was in a little small world playing against them, but they played on the big stage. That's crazy.
That's crazy,
Anywho,
man. I want to do something real quick before we
Sure.
leave. Those who are watching this and you're listening to this, however you get in this podcast, I want you to stop what you're doing right here, right now. I need you to leave him a review, or I need you to share this podcast.
Appreciate that, man. Yeah.
I need you guys to help us get more people in tune to this. Maybe you didn't like this episode with me, and that's cool. Maybe you did like this episode with me. Whichever way you lean, I need you to help, this podcast get out there. So share it with one person. I'm only asking you to share it with one person.
Leave a comment or review. Yes.
Or Instagram. Don't just put it on your social media feed, because we don't really care about that. But if you send this to somebody like, yo, I really think you would like this podcast.
Oh, man.
I think you guys, just one person. That's all I'm asking.
Man.
Just one person. And let's see what happens.
And I appreciate that, man. Appreciate that.
Listen.
All right, man.
Give than receive.
So before we exit out here, of course, I know, like I said, some people know you, but how can we follow you and keep following you going forward?
Really, Instagram probably.
Okay.
Yeah, your boy LV, YABOY LV. it was intentional, right? I'm your boy. Whoever you are, I'm your boy. We cool. All respect. But yeah, you can reach me there, and then let's go from there because we're gonna get it popping. I'm bringing you on a podcast too.
Man, appreciate it. We got to do it. Definitely do it. All right, so you heard it today. We had an opportunity to chop it up, and just this is what we do, just having conversation and talking today. But want you to stay tuned. Again, as he mentioned, please subscribe. Subscribe, whether you're looking at this on YouTube or you're listening to the podcast, please subscribe, leave the review. Well, I have nothing left here today, but we just want to say stay tuned with us right here on Behind the Grind.
Yes, sir.